questions as we go, and I hope you will answer the questions. So there are many ways to immigrate to the US. We probably will start with family-based immigration, but who is willing or who wants to immigrate to the US or move to the US? Wow, that's a lot. Okay, who just wants to visit the US? Wow, also a lot. Okay, so for those who want to visit the US, I will shortly talk about B2 visa. So B2 visa is a tourist visa. And you can apply for this visa through US embassy website. It's a really easy process. You just fill out the application, pay visa fees, and schedule the interview. For this visa, it is very important to show your intent to stay and live in Ukraine permanently. Because if the officer will not believe you, then you won't get a visa. Right now, usually in Ukraine, they give tourist visas for 10 years. If they not like don't believe you, but if they're not sure 100% about you, they can give you 5 and 3 and 1 year visas.
That you will return back.
Not like they for some reason they don't want to give you a 10-year visa.
They reject you?
No, they don't reject you. They just give you a shorter period of time for the visa. But if, it doesn't matter, like if you come to the US, it doesn't matter how long you have a visa for, 3, 5, 10 years. But at the point of entry, they usually they give you just 6 months of stay in the US. And this is very important because you should know that after 6 months you should leave the US. Otherwise, you will be considered unlawfully present in the US, and there are some very bad consequences.
Extradition.
Deportation. There are a lot of different bad consequences. And if you're interested, then you can ask me a question later. I will tell.
How it could be out of law in the US?
How to, like, I've never been illegal in the US, but I think it's hard.
And to become legal after you get there?
How to become legal?
Yeah.
Okay, there are ways. One of the ways is to get married, to be a citizen, and a lot of people use this way.
Or most democratic.
Yeah.
Or to stay there for around 5 years, and then you become legal.
No, there is no such way, unfortunately. But many illegals wish this way could exist, but no, unfortunately not. So this is tourist visa, and again, if you have questions, you can ask me later.
How can I buy a green card?
How you can get a green card? Buy a green card. Okay, you can legally. So there is a visa called pt.5. pt.5 visa. It's an investment visa.
What's the price?
So minimum price is 500,000, and there are different requirements. So you need to invest 500,000 in the regional center. Regional center, it's basically a business. Usually, it's a real estate development type of business. And they have different projects, and they should have minimum number of people employed there. So this visa is really complicated, but if you're interested, I can tell you later. But the minimum amount is 500,000. There is also a different type of, like, subtype of this visa. Then you should invest 1 million. So 1 million or 500,000 is a lot for a green card, right?
Okay, keep
Um,
trying.
But what you can do is you can play in DV lottery. You don't have to pay anything, zero. And you can actually play DV lottery right now, because until November 7th, the period is open. Like, you can file the application on U.S. government website, but make sure that the website ends in .gov, like .gov, because there are a lot of different websites I checked, and they end in .org. So these websites are fraudulent. So I highly suggest you play the lottery, because you don't have to pay anything and you can get a green card. For instance, yes?
I just have a question. I never understood why do they have it from a political point of view. So they have had a debate. We want to have.
Why are they having DV lottery?
Yeah, why do they have it at all?
So I think that, but it's just my point, my opinion, that America is a country of immigrants. So they want immigrants to come to the U.S. They want immigrants to be able to help to grow the economy, the intelligence in the U.S., you know?
But they must have its political debate. How old is it, for example? Because if you want to have the platters want to come to America, you don't have a lottery.
So I cannot give you like the exact time when the lottery was played the first time, but I can assume maybe like 60s, but I can check.
They would like to get lucky people inside. Because lucky people do the life
That makes
funny,
sense.
more fun.
Yeah, that's another opinion. But yeah, but I highly suggest, if you want to move to the US permanently, do play green card lottery, because yes.
Do you know how many percent winning ticket in that year before Ukraine and Russia conflict? It was Ukraine and some other country was a small chance to win some lottery.
So I don't think that it's a small chance. I can tell you the amount of visas allocated. It's 50,000. No, not visas.
Per lottery or totally?
So per year, and each year they play the lottery. But for instance, if you play this year, 2017, then you, if you win, you can move in 2018. So starting actually from October 2018, if you play in 2016 and win.
They have some kind of limits for each region, right? From this 50K.
So they do have some limits. For instance, China and Mexico, they cannot play at all. Because
You know why, right?
there are too many people willing to move. India also has some borders.
Enough of them there.
Yeah. Also, I cannot give you the specific amount how many people play, but out of my friends, I know a lot who won.
Lucky friends.
Yeah, lucky friends, and they play every year. They play every year. Did anybody play the lottery?
Yep.
How many times?
2 times.
3 times. Wow. Did you already fill out the papers?
Yeah.
Did you fill out the papers this year? Okay, great. So
luck.
do it.
Good luck.
Like, yeah, if you want to move, just do it. Okay, family-based immigration. Does anybody of you has a family member, a relative in the U.S.?
No.
That's why we're here.
Kind of, right?
No.
My
Okay.
wife, sister, my wife live.
Your wife's sister, right?
Yes.
Uh-huh. She lives. Okay, so there are ways that your wife can immigrate through her sister, but it can take up to, I would say, 10 years. Because
Sister make invite for give some tourist visa and they have reject.
they rejected.
My officer.
Uh-huh. Okay, so you can try to reapply if they rejected your visa, the tourist visa, if some circumstances change. For instance, you changed your job and your salary is bigger than it was, so some fact needs to change. Or you applied, for instance, all the family applied, your wife and you. If she applies separately and if she says that she wants to travel alone, then probably her chances will increase because she will not leave you in Ukraine and move permanently to the US, right? Okay. So we will leave the topic of family-based immigration and we will move to asylum. Does anybody, like, just raise hands who knows what asylum means in Russian? Okay. Asylum.
Ah,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
A little bit similar, right? So asylum, политическое убежище. So to ask and to apply for political asylum, you need to be present in the U.S. So either you move, you travel there on a tourist visa or on F1 student visa, any kind of visa. You just need to be physically present in the U.S. You file the papers. Oh, didn't tell about the requirements, which is very important. The requirements. You need to fear for your life. So if you stay in Ukraine, you will be dead or murdered or physically injured. That's the high standard for asylum
You
case.
should be able to prove that.
Yes, of course, you should be able to prove that you either will get injuries or you will be murdered in Ukraine.
Sorry, you can't impossible prove it, you just should make it likely.
Okay, so you should. It's not the attorney who tells the story. It's you who tell the story to the officer, and if the officer will believe that you fear for your life, and there are certain parts of task that you need to prove to the officer, then you will get asylum. It can be political asylum, which is based on your political opinions. It can be a religious asylum based on your religion. So you were persecuted based on your religion, or your political opinion, or your nationality, or based on your separate, like that you are in a separate social group. For instance, gay or lesbian is considered to be a particular social group. What asylum can give you? If you come, for instance, on a B2 visa to the US, tourist visa, right? You cannot work. You don't have work permit, period. For asylees, if they apply for asylum, after 6 months of application, they can work. Usually, the process of the application can take from 6 months to up to 5 years. So all these 5 years, starting from the 6 months after the application, a person can work. Yes?
So do they give you kind of like roof over your head and a living, or where do you
No,
have to?
no, they
Just
don't.
kind of like here's a bridge and it's
Yeah, so it's up to an SID to be able to find a job. They just give you a work permit. That's it. But yes,
What do you receive in the end? The green card, or
at the end you will receive a green card. But
and approximately how much time does it take to finish all the documents?
you mean when you will get the green card?
Yeah.
Okay.
In case of asylum.
In case you will be granted an asylum?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. The processing of asylum application up to the interview can take from 6 months up to 5 years.
The process of application, yeah?
Yeah, just processing and scheduling the interview. And it depends on the state where you live and on the office which will process your application. For instance, in San Francisco, the office will process the applications from 3 different states: California, Washington State, and Nevada. So each asylum office has its own jurisdiction. In San Francisco, the processing time is 2 years. So let's imagine. Yes.
Sorry, more question. Kind of like that process is always like that with immigration. Is that because of lack of resources, or is it kind of like an active policy? This shift is gonna take time, and we're gonna make sure
Okay,
it just
lack
takes
of
time.
resources actually, because
Yeah.
6 months?
Yeah, it seems like they're just sabotaging it because it's always
No.
slow, and it seems like there's a plan behind it.
it's just lack of resources because before 2014 it took just 6 months. That's it. But right now there are so many people who want to obtain the asylum and who applied that we have all these processing
If
times.
a person really in a hard situation and cannot get back to his country and appear physically in the US, what should he do if he has travel visa which is not make you able to work and to earn money?
Then you should apply for asylum. Usually people apply within 1 or 2 months after they come to the US. But the statutory period is you should apply within 1 year after arriving to the US.
But in
And
what
that's
status
important.
a person appear in the US? Does they give some documents they allow you to work for partly maybe?
Yeah, because you're asking how they survive.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
they survive.
Food,
Okay.
food is
After
enough.
imagine you apply for asylum. After 6 months of application, you will get work permit.
But before?
Before, okay, they say to you, the immigration services, that you cannot work, period. But most of my clients, if not all of them, they work for cash. Of course, they try not to talk about this.
And cooperate with Mexicans.
Actually, in San Francisco, there is a lot of Russians, and a lot of Russians, they actually live in one area called Richmond, and there are really a lot of Russians. Probably Thomas knows, right?
Yeah, the Joshua that comes on Sundays, they're from there.
Okay. So then you will get work permit, and then you can work whenever you want and wherever you want. Actually, back to your question, because we were a little bit sidetracked. So you have work permit. Then let's take, for instance, San Francisco office. In San Francisco office, the processing of application can take 2 years right now. So after 2 years of applying, you will be scheduled for an interview. If you will pass the interview successfully, you actually will receive all the benefits that But you will receive a lot of benefits. You will receive free healthcare, financial aid. You can also apply for housing. So I think that's a lot of benefits. So after 1 year of granting an asylum, you will get a green card.
So it's approximately 4 years. Yes.
Again, depending on the state where you live, but in, let's say, California, it's
From your
approximately,
experience.
okay, 3.5, let's say 3.5 years. In my experience, because I practice in San Francisco, California. So, yeah, let's say 3.5 years.
During these 3.5 years, you can go back to Ukraine anyway, for example.
You can't, because you are so afraid to come back for your life.
I understand,
How
but
can you-
legally, if you need to go to, I don't know, maybe some of your family
Okay,
died or
we
something
had
like
a
that.
situation, so there are ways, but nobody can guarantee you that on the border you will be admitted to the U.S. again.
Back?
Back, yes, back to the U.S. So if you have this terrible situation, let's not like name it, let's just imagine it's terrible, you can get a travel permit, which allows you to travel to Ukraine under some exceptional circumstances. But if on the border you will try to come into the US, they have the border patrol has the right not to let you in, unfortunately. So we highly advise our clients not to take any chances and not to apply for this permit. But there are different circumstances. One of the clients applied, successfully went to Ukraine, did his things, came back, and they allowed him to the country, into the country again.
Do they give you some document,
Yes, they do.
travel permit, for example, that guarantees that?
The immigration services, they give you the permit, you have to apply for it. But even this permit will not guarantee you the re-entrance to the US.
If, for example, you already approved for the green card and you're waiting for a green card this
Then,
1 year period,
then yes,
maybe it's more possible.
of course, it gives you probably higher chances that they will let you into the country.
And all this time, the visa will be B2, for example, if I have tourism visa and go.
No. Your status will be either in the process of applying for asylum, or if you already got an asylum, so you went through the interview and was granted an asylum, then
They are changing the visa in passport.
it's not about the visa, it's your status as an SIE. So they will give you a travel document as an SIE. And if you have like a specific situation, you can, I will give you my email and you can just write me the exact situation that you have.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yeah, sure.
And in case if you got obtained a green card, okay, after the interview, a person free to travel to home country?
No, up until, so it's better not to travel into the home country up until you will get the citizenship. And you will get the citizenship in 5 years. Okay, so moving to employment-based immigration. Does anybody want or is willing to obtain an employment-based visa? Okay, are you interested in H-1B?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, H-1B. It's called Occupation Specialty Worker Visa, and I will not write this down just because there is not enough space. So for this type of visa, you have to have a job offer. It's actually the employer who petitions for you. And there is also a limit of visas allocated in this type of visa, and it's just 65,000 visas per year
In the whole country, in the whole US,
in
or
the whole
just
US.
in state?
No, in the whole country.
How do they spread to the states?
They don't spread the states. It doesn't matter in which state you live. You're asking about the states.
Yeah, for example, if Washington state gets 60,000,
It doesn't, for them it doesn't matter. Actually, like right now, there are so many people who want to get the H-1B visa that the US government invented a cool thing, which is called a lottery. Which is very similar to green card lottery. But in
if
my
you are
practice,
not in these 65,000, you can apply another lottery having an invitation, no?
unfortunately not. So, like,
They have actually tweaks around that as well, which is to be a regional lawyer. So, for example, I have some Norwegian friends that didn't want to spend time with that. Then they got the internship, for example.
They can possibly, but again, from this visa, you can apply for a green card. Your employer can apply for the green card for you, and from J visas, they can't. So there are certain limitations. Of course, you can go around this visa, and I will tell you a little bit later how, because there are other types of visas which you can use. So for this type of visa, you have to have at least bachelor's degree. The work that you will be performing also needs to require a bachelor's degree for this type of work. And your bachelor's degree needs to be in this specialty of your work. So, when you will get a visa, you will get it for 3 years, and then you can renew it for another 3 years. But if, for instance, your employer doesn't want to apply for a green card for you after these 6 years total, then you have to go back to your country for 1 year, and it's mandatory. And then you can apply for the H-1B visa again.
Or you can find another job. Yeah.
Or you can find another job. So H-1B, it's a very, it gives you a lot of limitations. So you can work only for one employer. If you want to change the employer, you can try to apply for another visa. But for this visa, you can apply just on April 1st, sorry. April 1st. And if the petition would be approved, then you can come after October 1st. And you all know that if an employer needs you, he or she needs you right now. So these time limitations also is a minus, I think. Also, if you have family, if you have wife and children,